Alrighty, y'all. So, Pretty Birds is totally on edge today. He is moody as can be. Not in the mood to deal with any shenanigans today. He is all kinds of just moody. I mean, the minute I let him out earlier, let me see. Yeah, look. He got me on my arm. I don't know how well y'all can see it. The sun's shining, so I can't really see my screen very well, but you guys can see he got me good today. Been a minute since you marked me, huh? Yeah, it's been a minute since I've had a mark from you. A little moody butt. Anyways, I've got a lot of plans for the yard, and I wanted to run you guys through it real quick. So this is not going to be a long live. I've got a lot of stuff to do. I've got places to be, places to take care of, things to do. So we're probably going to incorporate a piece of land over here into the bird yard, because this part of the yard hasn't been used by the birds, and therefore is not needing to be recovering from like any kind of bird poop or anything. But to make all this happen, there's going to be a lot of changes. A big reason for the changes is because this yard needs to recover. It needs a chance to regrow. And every time there's grass growing, as you can see, the chickens hyper-focus. They hyper-focus, so do the geese, on every little bit of green that tries to come in. So every time we have a little bit of green come in, the chickens and the geese immediately destroy it. Since our yard is struggling, I need to make sure that it can regrow. So to do this, I plan on cutting them off from a big chunk of the yard, but also giving them access to new parts of the yard. I will do this. So this part of the yard is still going to stay the way it is right now. It's the ganders corner for the African ganders, and I'm actually about to make it one level higher, so that, and then also enclose this gap so that the chickens can't get in here anymore. Really, geese, yeah? And so that I can let the roosters hang out here. Geese, yeah. Don't be a weirdo. What are you doing? You're being strange. Anyway, so that's what I'm working on today. But I don't know yet how I'm going to be able to do it or how well I'll be able to do it, but I'm going to be taking that piece of the fence. This whole area needs to recover. This whole area has been hyper-focused on by the chickens and the geese for the last year and a half, almost 2 years that we've lived here. So it needs time. It needs a break, big time. And I need to reseed it and work this ground. This ground is getting pretty tough. It's not like super hard yet, but it's getting pretty tough. They've pretty much uprooted everything, and it needs to be able to regrow. Keep in mind, I don't own this property, so I need to make sure that I circulate and that I cycle through the yard and make sure that I let things regrow over time. Now, once it has a chance to regrow, it's going to look gorgeous, okay? Because the chicken poop is going to act as a fertilizer, but it needs time for some of the levels to calm down, for it to get to actually regrow without the chickens hyper-focusing on every little bit that tries to come up. So I'm going to be taking this fence down, and I'm going to be taking that whole fence down, and that whole fence down. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing it well, I'm likely not going to do it today. I might even start today, but most likely not today. I let the birds out because I don't expect to be able to work on it today. I expect to get that corner done, and that's it. But most likely starting tomorrow, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 geese. My Canada geese will be hanging out in the African gander corner tomorrow. And my African ganders will hang out in the aviary tomorrow. And I'm going to take everything down. The chickens will also stay within the aviary tomorrow. I'll be restricting their access to the yard to keep them safe from any potential stray or loose dogs in the neighborhood, because that is a regular occurrence here. And that's one of the big reasons why I need fencing. The fencing is not to keep my birds in check. I have no neighbors that mind my birds foraging in their yards. If anything, yard probably would be recovering much better if the birds had more space. But right now, I need to try and get this yard to regrow. So there's going to be a few things I need to do. Take that down, take everything else down. We're going to rerun the fence line from, so this whole area right here and this center area here, all, like this area was struggling, and then the drought hit. It just made it so much worse. This area as well. Like we had some spots that were open, and then just a drought hit, and it just got so much worse. So we're going to be running a fence line starting about here or here, maybe on this main post. I don't know yet if I'm going to use the main post, or am I going to use the post next to the door, or the one in the center. But I'll be running a fence line most likely from the door, and it's going to go out, straight out, and it's going to stop somewhere around here. So it'll be this whole area right here up to here, meaning that all of this area that's struggling will no longer be accessible to the birds. I'm going to cut it down straight down here so that they have this, all of this, to forage, and I'm going to make it go further back. So it's going to go further back around and then back up, coming up next to this building right here. I don't want to go behind, like to the side of the building, because I want to still be able to see my birds whenever I'm looking out my back door, so I can check on them and keep them safe. But it's going to give them a larger area to forage right here. Going to give them plenty of foraging space. But all of this will no longer be accessible to them for a period of time. It's not going to be permanent. It's just supposed to give the yard a chance to recoup, to resprout, to grow out, for me to reseed it, just to have some chance to recover. Right now, there's no way I can reseed this entire yard without losing most of my seeds to the chickens who are going to pick them up and eat them. So because of that, I'm going to need to cut them off from it. I don't want to keep them in an aviary for a couple of weeks. You know, I don't want to keep them locked up for several weeks in there. It's just not going to be fair to them, in my opinion. So because of that, I'm going to make them a new run, basically. They will have access to that tree. And then once this side of the yard has recovered, I will likely change the whole thing, depending on how this area is doing. Obviously, I'll be treating all this, the whole yard will be treated like helped, you know, like all this extra dead grass will get ripped out and picked up and put on a pile somewhere so that I can slowly get rid of it. I mean, shoot, this might even be usable for a bit of straw. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyway, all this stuff will be cleaned up. I got to get all these branches moved off from right here. I'm going to have somebody coming in at the end of the week who said that they'll be here for mowing, so that they can mow down everything that's overgrown. And it's just going to help kind of not rejuvenate, but like resuscitate the yard. Because as you can see right here, we have grass trying to come in. I actually did seed this area. My chickens are some thorough birds. Hey, ladies. You're just working this systematically, aren't you? Got the 3 white chickens just lined up perfectly, working over here, wiggling their little butts while they're scratching away. And don't get me wrong, this is great. Like, technically, they're doing a good job oxidizing the ground and all the other stuff. But if you give them too much time over here, they're going to be killing off all the grass. And they're going to not give the seedlings time to grow and to establish themselves. which results in this disaster and my neighbor's yard looking like that and mine looking like this. So I must respectfully tell these ladies to move their fluffy butts away from these areas so it can grow and fix itself, because a lot of these roots will come back like they're still in there alive somewhere, because it's dormant. A lot of this stuff, a lot of this stuff is dead. But once I have it all reseeded and I have raked the yard and worked the yard, then it'll start looking like this more. It'll have more greenery. It'll have better grass coming in. I'll be reseeding over time, more and more and more over the next month. This month and the following month, I'll be reseeding as much as I can afford. Yeah, sure, it's going to be cheap grass. Yeah, sure, it's not going to be anything that's going to be super awesome, but I'm going to do my best to get what I can afford to try and help the grass come back in. Ooh, you little devil! I thought I found all of you guys. That one's got spikes on it. I'm going to need to cut that. My little chickens and geese don't hurt themselves on it. But the whole point I'm trying to make is that I'm basically completely redesigning the yard, changing the entire fencing alignment, changing how everything is set up, so that in the end, my chickens and my geese will benefit from it. And that is the official announcement for that. Pretty Bird and the geese appear to be doing well. We're getting closer and closer to our little gosling hatching. The earliest that the gosling can hatch is the 27th. On the 26th, the gosling will, actually, no, not on the 26th. I have to count the days again, but the point I was trying to make was that the gosling will be going in a lockdown very soon. And yeah, it is going to be a lot of work. Got to collect all the branches everywhere and clear everything up before the end of the work to make sure that all the branches are set aside, so that the gentlemen who are going to be working the yard are going to be able to work the yard and not worry about destroying their vehicles, their mowers, by getting stuck on branches, you know? And yeah, like I said, I'll be working all that working all of that stuff out, getting everything done. What the hell is this? Random pieces of something. So, and hopefully that will help me be able to give the yard a break, let things regrow, let things reseed. I'm also going to be probably needing to wash the floor, the ground over here. Y'all have been thorough over here. Anyway, I'm likely going to be using a shovel and just down, twist, down, twist, down, twist. Just trying to open up the ground all over the place over here. There's going to be a lot of work here that I'm going to be doing with my kids. They're going to get to be involved in helping me repair this yard. This area has always been mostly dead. It just is. But that area dies all the time for some reason. I don't know. But it's also always wet. We don't appear to have a leak, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the water is just running that way because we're on a hill or what it is, but it is what it is. I've told the owners. I don't know what else to do about it. But hopefully, within a little while, I'll then start looking like that. And within a couple of weeks, I'll be able to expand the fencing again, and the birds will be able to have a larger piece of the yard again. And either way, since spring and summer is coming, I'm not going to let them have the clothing line area, because I'm going to be using that for clothes. Big surprise. I know, huge revelation. But I'm going to be using that for clothes now that the weather's getting nice and warm, and I'll actually be able to do that. Oh, look at that. Wild onions. And actually, I need to look that up and make sure I don't need to get them out of here. And they've definitely gone into handtail. That thing was completely green when the chickens started. And they've completely demolished that thing. My Lord. they've worked it down. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I'm working on. But first, I'm going to finish that corner, finish that project, and then start working on the next project. So stay tuned to find out how long I can last before I fall over in exhaustion. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.